Patience. You're not patient. You're in a rush. You want a quick fix. You want the comb to do the 5 minutes. Yeah, this one, the unbrushed detangled in like one sweep. That's what we want. We don't want to look at the hair. We don't want to separate it. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to be with the hair, okay? We don't want to make it a part of self-care. Why finger detangling is difficult for you. In this video, I'm gonna share some reasons why I think a lot of us struggle with finger detangling and what you can sort of do to help yourself along. I've spoken about finger detangling, dry detangling, wet detangling. I've given tips. I've done separate videos, so go check those out if you're not familiar. But in a nutshell, I believe that dry detangling is one of the most effective ways, if not the most effective way, to detangle your hair because your hair is at its strongest, okay? However, a lot of us come out here and say, I cannot finger detangle. It's time consuming, it's tedious. How do you take shed hairs out? Tangles, my roots are always tangled. Like, yeah, a lot of us are struggling with finger detangling. And I'm just gonna share some ideas as to why you're struggling and what you can do to help you along in what I did to sort of help myself really get into it. Okay, so let's get into the video. The first thing is mindset. I don't know how to say this, how to put it to you. I've said it in many videos, but your mind and the way you think about your hair is the number one thing when it comes to actually enjoying it and being effective with its care. For example, texture acceptance. A lot of us have not accepted what type 4 hair is, what 4C hair is particularly, and what it does. A lot of us want it to look a certain way, have a certain definition, have a certain curl, do this, do that. Look, it is what it is. The minute you accept the texture, things change. The way you look after it, the stress involved, the care of it, it just becomes a bit of a breeze now because you understand this is what it does. These are its limitations, these are unnecessary things, and you move on with your journey. When it comes to mindset, particularly with regards to detangling our hair, a lot of us think that we need to detangle our hair the way the rest of the world detangles their hair, the way other hair types detangle their hair, combing, brushing, etc. Our hair is very different from any other hair on the planet. When I say different, I mean vastly different. It's not similar to anything else. Indian hair, Asian hair, Caucasian hair, you can see similarities. Afro hair is very different. So the care of it, this is just one, will be different. Type 4 hair is coily. By nature, it's coily. By nature, it tangles. By nature, it will always want to shrink up and revert, and that actually encourages tangles, which means no matter how much you detangle, unless you put it in like a I don't know, wash and go maybe, okay? For example, put a bit of gel, clump it, keep it in that form, okay? It might stay like that for a bit, but we know that them gels are not long lasting. 2-3 days, yeah, the cast is broken. So the hair is now really prone to tangles at the roots, at the ends, you name it. So for me and with my routine, once I realized the fact that my hair will always have some kind of tangles in there, no matter how much I detangle, I just took a sit back. I was just like, okay, I'm done fighting you. What do you want? Like, what do you want me to do for you? It really did change the way I look at my hair. The other thing to consider is that when we say a brush detangles well or a comb detangles well, what we really are truly meaning is that it just ripped through the tangles. Brushes and combs don't have the ability to untangle the complexity that is a tangle. Your hands, finger detangling, can remove the hair from the shed hair, can untangle a tangle. If it's too complicated, we can snip it. A comb, a brush does not have an ability to untangle a tangle unless you get it exactly at the point where I don't even want to claim it, because the teeth of the combs are usually too big to even go in between the tangle to remove it. So the only way that a comb or a brush can really detangle effectively is if the tangle actually untangles itself naturally as the comb or the brush applies pressure. So when you think of those reasons, you start to realize, okay, should we be changing the way we think about detangling our hair? Anyway, I did. I changed my mind about how I detangle. I started finger detangling exclusively. And yeah, mindset is probably the reason why you're stuck and struggling with detangling. That's number one. Expectations. Like I've said already, if you're expecting a smooth, perfect detangle, if you're expecting no tangles in that hair, you're gonna be stuck in a loop of frustration and a loop of tangles. I think when you understand your hair, you have the right expectations for what it can do and what to expect with its care. And when it comes to detangling, like I said, our hair always has tangles, always likes to shrink, always curls up on itself. So don't expect it to ever be super well detangled. Of course, if you're going to use heat, if you're going to flat iron, different story, right? But for my people that actually, use your leave-in conditioner, you're in a twisted style, braids, etc., and you're detangling your hair, yeah. Does it reduce the tangles? But it doesn't remove them completely. So the aim with detangling should really be to bring the hair to a place where it's not matting and major tangles are away from the hair and you can style it. That's the goal. For me, moving forward, that's my goal. I'm not aiming for a silky detangle and for that satisfaction with a brush. Girl, that set me back just recently. You know about this. So yeah, changing up your expectations about what your hair should be doing when it comes to being detangled. Habits. It's a habit. You're struggling because it's a habit. You've been doing it for years and years. To make matters worse, you're on YouTube and you see people detangling. Someone say to me, oh, use the unbrush. The way I quickly say, no. Combs, yeah, this is a no comb zone. Because we've been doing the detangling with the combs, with the brushes for years, we believe this to be the norm. Even from childhood, girl, we've been doing this from childhood. Yeah, it's gonna take a bit to change that, unless you're really challenging yourself to actually change your mindset and realize actually this is habitual. I need to change this habit and unlearn and adopt something new. You'll be stuck in the loop. You'll be stuck here writing comments. I don't think this applies to everyone. I think my hair is fine hair. My hair has I've got fine hair, it detangles a lot. I understand. If you've got fine hair, I've got fine hair, okay? It's probably fine or medium. If you've got fine hair, for example, you have to, once you wash and do your detangle, right? You have to put it in a style where it's in a stretched position. So braids, for example. That way you minimize the tangles, one. Number two, you stretch the roots. Braids stretch the roots. The time you come to unravel it, the same tangles that were there after you detangled will be the same tangles that will be in there. Really, because braids really do help keep the hair in the same position. Twists not so much, but braids, yeah. I've done a separate video talking about how to stretch your roots, but braids is one of them. Bantu knots is another one. The banding method is one. African threading is also one. Proceed with caution with that one. But so many ways to stretch your roots. There's so many ways to stretch your hair so that once you detangle it, whether you've done it extremely well or finger detangled or whatever, it stays where it is. So even with fine hair, there are ways around this. So if I had super fine hair, okay, it's extremely fine hair. Of course, with fine hair, you don't want to do really small parts. You want to really group the hair. You want to work in groups. There's power in numbers. A lot of people have come out here and spoken about how they cannot wash in mini twists because their hair is fine. I understand that. Either wash in braids or actually wash your hair loose. But once you're done washing, finger detangling, what have you, moisturize the hair, what have you, put it in a braid. Braids would work for a fine natural. Even if it's chunky braids, it'll keep those tangles at a minimum. So I don't know, you guys let me know what other things really tangles or mats your hair as a fine natural. I want to hear that, because a few of you guys have commented about having fine natural hair. Patience. Patience. You know, patience. You're in a rush. You want a quick fix. You want the comb to do the 5 minutes. Yeah, this one, the unbrush detangled in like one sweep. That's what we want. We don't want to look at the hair. We don't want to separate it. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to be with the hair, okay? We don't want to make it a part of self-care. We don't want to do it in sections. That's another trick. If you're not doing your hair in sections, what are you doing? Even if you're combing, like detangling with a comb, sections is a non-negotiable. It just helps reduce that overwhelm. So yeah, finger detangling requires patience, not necessarily time, because it just depends how your hair was prior to this detangle, how you kept your hair. One, how moisturized the hair. Two, how moisturized the hair was. Two, and also you don't have to detangle all the hair in one sitting. You can detangle one section, put it away, wear your headscarf, wear your hat, off you go, done. So yeah, that's what I'll do if you're worried about, oh, this is so time consuming, whatnot. I know it. I know the pressure. I used to have it. Not anymore. We're not rushing anything here, and there's no rush to finish anything in whatever time. We're doing it at our own pace, and we're taking care of our hair. Yeah, that's that. I don't know what else to say, but when you finger detangle, you will need a certain level of patience. Yes, however, there is no pressure for you to finish at this, like now, because that's when it really starts becoming overwhelming, trying to do all of it now. And also when you're finger detangling, like I said, you're removing shed hairs, you're removing major tangles, done. You can separate the hair, done. Like, I'm not gonna be, look, we don't do that here. Like, you've seen my dry detangling video. I pretty much just separate the hair. Make sure you're not locking, baby. We pretty much don't want the hair to lock. Other than that, who cares? The last thing I just want to mention is preference. I think we do actually have a preference for combs and brushes, because everybody's using combs and brushes. We've used them for the longest time, and also it's time saving to use a comb and brush or brush. And we're not really willing to let that go, because I mean, we've done it forever, it works, and I mean, it melts my tangles. It definitely is not melting your tangles. It's most likely breaking your hair. So that's that, guys. Those are the reasons why I think finger detangling is a challenge for you, and also just some tips how to get around these things. Comment below, let me know what you think about this video. Like I said, it's not for everyone, but these are the things that have worked and have really changed my natural hair game. All right, guys, until next time, it's Coily Diaries. Bye.